right, now I'm recording. Coming at you live, Swerchowski in class, third period.
I think that's a little loud, sir.
All right, so, where's my pen? There it is. We are picking up right here. Adrian, is that you making that noise? Clicking?
Yeah,
All right. So, just like every function we have studied this year, radical functions undergo the same types of transformation. Okay, I am recording. Try not to laugh so loud. So we have this transformation form that's going to help us identify the transformations to the parent function of radical functions. So this, I haven't even done anything. Not going too fast. This is a form that will help us understand the transformations to the parent function. When looking at a radical function or graph in this form, h comma k is the center point or starting point. I just gave this to you, Janet. It's, no. Hold on, we're going to have to pausing the video because we need to get everyone on this right track. BRB. All right, we're back at the video. So it says, if A is negative, the graph reflects. This will affect the range of the function. So it will affect the possible y values.
Unit 6, lesson 3. I have to check it for you. Yes.
So we need to remember this form. A times the nth root of x minus h plus k, that is going to help us identify the transformations. So let's look at example 2, part A. This is that form that we should write down over and over again until we know it. Looking at this, what is the h value? What would be h? What am I subtracting? Careful. It's going to be 1 in this case. Because that minus sign is already part of that transformation form. What would k be? What would k be? 3. What would A be? 1. And what would N be? 2. Good. Remember, the 2 is implicit now. Be careful. Okay, so that means since my starting or center point is 0, 0 at the parent function, if the center, or really this would be a starting point, and it would be at 1, 3, that would go right 1, up 3. I know this is going to be hard for a lot of us, so I really would pay attention. I know that's hard for people. I am throwing shade. I'm going to pause our video, and I'm going to instruct my class to do part B and C. Ready, go. And what's up? We're back. Okay, so we're going to do a little matching game. Matching. Alejandro, what would A be for part B? 2, thank you. Alejandro. Angel, what would N be? 3, that is correct. Now, next.
Side combos.
What would H be? What am I subtracting from inside my radical? It has to be inside the radical. Inside the radical. Yeah, so am I subtracting anything? No, so what is H? 0. H is 0 because think about it like this. This is the same thing as this. Right? Because subtracting nothing is, you don't need it. What is K? Great question, Cheyenne. What do you think? Close. Yes, -7, that is correct. So now we will describe our transformations. What is HK as a point? 0, -7. That means I don't go right or left, but what do I do? Down, how many? 7. And then technically this A would be a stretch and factor of 2. If A is negative, that's when we get that reflection. Yeah, that says stretch. Factor of 2. All right, let's do part C. Part C. We're doing the matching game. Here we go. Carla. Gentlemen, side conversations. I am recording a YouTube video. You're ruining it. Carla, what would the value of A be? For part C. Tricky. Not 0. -1. Thank you. Good. What would H be? What am I, careful here, subtracting from X inside the parentheses? -10. Thank you, Diana. Did you say that? Okay, good. Let me explain why that is real quick, because this is tricky. X plus 10 is the same as X minus -10. Does that make sense? That's tricky. It's like the opposite. It's tricky for some of us, including myself. What would K be? What am I adding or subtracting outside of the radical? That's inside. That's N. I should have said that earlier. N is 4. Yes, Yesenia. 0. I am adding 0, basically. That's what Angel said. All right. What is H comma K as a point? What is H comma K as a point? Ashley B, what is H comma K as a point? Well, what's H? -10 comma K. What is K? 0. So -10 comma 0 is the point. That helps me with my transformations. Do I go left, right, up, or down? Left, how many, Roberto? 10. Up or down? Nothing. Now, what about A being negative? What does that do? Look at our notes. Reflect. So it's left 10 and it is reflected. I can spell. Sort of, kind of, not really. Alrighty. Should we skip this one? Too bad. We're doing it anyways. Gotcha. Alejandro, help me out. What is A? 1/2. Thank you, Alejandro. Janeth, what is N? What root am I taking? Thank you, Janeth. Angel, you want to just teach the class? Too bad. What's H? Hmm? 4. H is 4. Great question. So we have a question. Why is it 4? Remember, we're looking at this form. So H is the number that I am subtracting from X inside the radical. So when I look here, what number am I subtracting from X? 4. That's why it's 4. What would N be? Jimena, what would N be? What is it, Jimena? 2. Good. What is H comma K as a point? 4 comma 2. That means right 4 up 2. Wait. Yeah, this should be a K. Thank you. Whoops. Nobody caught that except for Yesenia and Diana. One of them. Both of them. And now it is going to be a shrink by a factor of 2.
Yay!
You could write factor of 1/2 too. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. As long as you say shrink, I know what you mean. Okay. Now, are we ready? We're going to see how we can do this, except when the function is given to us in exponent form. Yay. So, 2 ways you could do this. We could rewrite this as a radical. How could we rewrite this as a radical?
With your hands.
Yes, with my hands. How else?
By thinking about it.
Yes. When I take remember when we did this it's been a few days ago now. How can I rewrite something to the 1/2 power as a radical? Anyone remember? We had a quiz on this. Would this be a second root, a third root, an 18th root? The denominator tells me second root. So something to the 1/2 power is the same as square rooting it, which means I can rewrite this as what? What can I rewrite that as? The square root of what? X plus 5. Minus 3 stays. Now, what is H comma K? Anyone? Careful, H is tricky. Yeah. H is -5. Some of you might be confused with that. It's because, am I subtracting inside the radical? No. I'm adding. So that means the H value is negative. That's tricky to remember. It's the same when we had it in rational functions. It's the same thing. -3 stays the same. Good. Side conversations are still too loud. That means I go left 5, down, 3, reflect, and I'm done. How did I know I had a reflection, anyone? Because the negative in front. A was -1. Any questions with what we did so far? Can I scroll down to page 3? It's not time to go. We still have 10 minutes. I'll give you the last 5. I know, and I did. Well, whoops.
So you should wake up now and get
No. Alrighty. Example 3. Now we get to graph. This is the fun part. I can barely hear myself. Ooh. What happened? All right, so where would our starting point be here? Well, it would be at h comma k. What is h? Careful. -4. What is k? 0. Nice. -4, 0 would be here. Now, you can plug in a couple values. I will say you need to think what values to plug in so that your radicand is a perfect square. That might be a little tricky for some of us. The first one I think of is a -3. If you plug in -3, -3 plus 4 is 1. What is the square root of 1? 1. What's 1 times 2? 2, so it would be up here. What's the next perfect square after 1? 4. So what would I have to plug in to get 4? No. I want to get 4 in the radicand.
-4.
That would give me 0.
Take a sec.
Think for a moment. Hold on. Chill. What is 2 plus 4? Okay, I want it to be 4. 0. Jesus. Slow down. So, if I plug in 0, 0 plus 4 is 4. What's the square root of 4? 2. What's 2 times 2? So it would be up here. What is the next perfect square after 4? 9. What would I have to plug in to get 9? 5. So if I plug in 5, I get 6. That would be my graph. The starting point is -4, 0. The domain, what would be the domain? What are all possible x values starting from lowest? -4. How high could it get? Could get really high. Infinity. Now, range is how low can it go? Can it go down low? It can go to the floor, but not lower. So we would start at 0, and we would get, how high could it get? Infinity. I know sometimes for the range, it looks like it's kind of leveling off. You could argue that, but it still is going to go to positive infinity. Let's stop there. I'm going to pause the video. We'll see how bad this video is.